We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus. What if I told you that most arguments you get into aren't about being right? They're about ego, pride, and misunderstanding. Think about it. How many times have you walked away from a debate feeling frustrated, unheard, or even defeated, despite having the better point? Imagine if you could flip that script. What if you could win any argument, not by shouting louder, but by staying calm, measured, and unshakable? That's exactly what Stoic philosophers mastered thousands of years ago, and their timeless rules can work for you today. In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful Stoic strategies that allow you to navigate conflicts, assert your perspective, and emerge victorious, all without raising your voice or losing your composure. These aren't just abstract ideas. They're practical, battle-tested methods you can start using immediately in your relationships, workplace, or even online debates. Stick with me until the very end, because the last rule is the secret that transforms every argument into a chance to earn respect, influence, and inner calm. If you've ever felt drained by conflict or wanted to handle disagreements like a master, this video is your ultimate guide. Number 1, focus on understanding, not defeating. You have to understand this right away. The moment you step into a conversation with the goal of winning is the moment you've already lost. True power in any exchange doesn't come from defeating someone else. It comes from understanding them deeply, completely, even when their words irritate or challenge you. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Take that in. Let it sink. Your first instinct might be to interrupt, to correct, to assert. But the real strength, the quiet force that makes people stop, listen, and even reconsider their own position, lies in your ability to truly grasp where they're coming from. You need to start by listening, not half listening, not planning your comeback while they talk, but actually absorbing their words, tone, and intent. Pay attention to what is said, and just as importantly to what isn't said. There's a rhythm, a subtlety, a hidden emotion behind every statement. Catch it, feel it, let it guide your response. When you do this, you're not just participating in a conversation, you're engaging on a deeper level, and that changes the entire dynamic. People feel heard. And when they feel heard, they lower their defenses, and that's where real influence begins. Shift your mindset from "I have to prove them wrong" to "I need to understand them fully." This is huge. You're no longer fighting, you're observing. You're no longer arguing, you're decoding. Ask yourself constantly, what motivates this person? What assumptions are they making? What truth do they see that I might be missing? Seneca reminds us, it is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. You wield this power not by overpowering, but by perceiving. Your mind becomes calm, your presence becomes steady, and your clarity becomes disarming. People sense that you are not reactive, and that alone gives you quiet authority. Now here's an exercise for you. The next time you find yourself in a disagreement, take a moment to breathe and silently repeat, "I am here to understand, not to defeat." Then, as the conversation unfolds, resist the urge to jump in immediately. Instead, summarize what they just said in your own words. Make it precise. Make it accurate. This does 2 things. It shows the other person that you are listening, and it forces your mind to process their position fully before responding. Over time, this practice rewires your approach to dialogue. You begin to naturally seek comprehension first, and only then respond with wisdom, not emotion. Another key point is to separate ideas from ego. You might feel challenged, dismissed, or provoked, but none of that requires a reaction. Said, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change. I seek the truth which never harmed anyone." Let truth, not pride, guide your responses. When your aim is understanding, your stance becomes flexible without being weak. You engage with ideas, not identities. You learn, you adapt, you grow. And in that space, the conversation transforms. Lastly, remember that silence can be your ally. Not every thought needs an immediate voice. Sometimes your calm attention, your steady presence, your willingness to truly understand speaks louder than any argument ever could. Make it a habit to pause, reflect, and then respond, not react. Do this consistently and you'll notice something profound. People start to shift around you. Their tone changes, their defenses lower, and what seemed like a battle becomes a mutual exploration of ideas. You've won without raising your voice, without forcing a point, without insisting on dominance. You've won because you understood, and understanding in the Stoic world is the ultimate power. Number 2, control your emotions. Stay calm. You have to understand something crucial if you want to win any argument without ever raising your voice. Your emotions are not your friend in that moment. They might feel like fuel, like fire giving you energy to fight, but in truth, they cloud your judgment, distort reality, and make you appear reactive rather than commanding. Said, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. That's the key. You have the power to decide how the situation affects you, how it shapes your mind and your response. You are not a puppet of someone else's words, opinions, or provocations. You are the steady force in the room, the calm eye of the storm, and that calmness, more than any argument or evidence, wins. Start by noticing your body. Tension, quickened breath, clenched jaw, racing thoughts. These are signals that your emotions are taking the wheel. Stop, breathe, slow it down, one deep, controlled breath at a time. Feel your mind catch up to your body. Epictetus reminded us, no man is free who is not master of himself. You must master yourself first. You cannot influence others effectively if you are a storm of reactive impulses. Your calmness becomes your silent strength, your invisible advantage. People argue harder when they meet a wall of reason. They argue less when they meet a wall of composed indifference. To cultivate this, practice detachment before, during, and after any discussion. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It means observing without being swept away. When someone says something provocative, instead of immediately responding, pause. Ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Does this align with my goal? If not, let it float past. You are not obligated to react. Stoics know that losing control of your emotions is giving away your power voluntarily. Calmness is the ultimate form of control because it allows you to see the argument clearly, to pick your words with precision, to strike effectively without fighting. Exercise this daily. When you feel irritation, frustration, or defensiveness bubbling up, even in small, mundane situations, pause, breathe, name the emotion quietly in your mind, watch it without judgment, recognize it, then choose your response deliberately. Ask yourself, what would a person who masters their mind do right now? Over time, you will notice that the instinct to lash out diminishes. Your mind becomes quieter, sharper, more deliberate. The world begins to respond differently because calm confidence is magnetic. People may not notice immediately, but they sense it, and they defer subtly to that steady energy. Another powerful technique is to prepare yourself mentally before any discussion. Visualize scenarios where someone tries to provoke you, where tension rises, where disagreement feels personal. See yourself maintaining composure, speaking clearly, letting words flow without emotional distortion. This mental rehearsal isn't fantasy, it's training. Stoics call this the premeditation of challenges. You imagine the storm, and in imagining it, you tame it. You meet chaos with an internal fortress of calm, unshakable and resolute. Remember, your calmness does more than prevent mistakes, it communicates authority. People respect the person who is unflappable. You don't have to shout, prove, or overwhelm. Your presence itself, steady, composed, intentional, does the work. You win because you are in control, and being in control is the ultimate victory in any argument. So start today. Notice, Pause, breathe, observe, respond deliberately. Let your calmness do the talking, and you'll realize arguments aren't battles to be fought. They're spaces to be navigated with intelligence, patience, and unshakable inner strength. Number 3, ask questions to reveal flaws in logic. If you want to win any argument without raising your voice, without forcing anyone to agree with you, the most powerful tool you have isn't a clever comeback or a cutting remark, it's questions. Questions are like keys. They unlock thought, expose contradictions, and quietly reveal the cracks in someone else's reasoning without you ever having to attack them. Seneca said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." In the same way, arguments often scatter into chaos when people try to push their point. But when you calmly guide someone through a series of questions, you anchor the conversation, giving it clarity and focus, and suddenly their assumptions start to wobble. You're not confrontational, you're thoughtful, you're inquisitive, and that energy, calm, deliberate, unhurried, carries more weight than any raised voice ever could. Start by really listening. I mean really listen, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Hear the words, understand the reasoning, and sense the gaps. Then gently, carefully ask questions that make them articulate their thinking. Questions like, what leads you to that conclusion? Or have you considered what would happen if that weren't true? Simple, calm, non-threatening. Each question forces them to examine their own logic, to clarify their assumptions, and often they begin to see the flaws themselves. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This is exactly why Stoics leaned on questions. They speak less, listen more, and let the other person unknowingly unravel the shaky foundations of their argument. You have to approach this like a daily exercise, a practice in patience and curiosity. Don't rush to point out contradictions or correct them immediately. Let your questions linger. Let silence do part of the work. Silence is incredibly persuasive. It forces the other person to fill the void, and often they end up contradicting themselves or softening their stance before you even say a word. It's not manipulation. It's guiding a discussion toward clarity, toward truth, and towards a mutual understanding that doesn't feel forced or combative. You're not trying to humiliate anyone. You're giving them the space to think more deeply, and in doing so, you elevate the conversation and your presence in it. Here's a practical exercise you can start today. Pick a conversation, any discussion, no matter how trivial, and practice listening with intent. Don't formulate your rebuttal while they speak. Instead, focus on understanding, then respond with one simple question that invites them to explain their reasoning. Observe how it changes the dynamic. Notice how often people start to correct themselves, rethink, or see the holes in their argument. Over time, this becomes a natural rhythm, a flow that doesn't feel forced or rehearsed. You're training yourself to stay calm, to probe gently, and to guide without pressing. Remember, your goal isn't to dominate the conversation. That's not winning, that's reacting. Winning, in the Stoic sense, is maintaining control of your own mind while guiding others toward clarity. Ask questions that matter, ones that highlight inconsistencies, ones that make assumptions visible, and you'll see how arguments dissolve almost on their own. You're not arguing, you're uncovering truth, and truth carries an irresistible authority. Ultimately, this method transforms how people perceive you. You become someone who is composed, thoughtful, and intelligent without ever needing to shout or force agreement. Your calm, measured questions cut through ego and noise, revealing the logic, or lack thereof, behind every claim. As you practice this, you'll notice a subtle shift. People start listening to you more carefully, they start thinking before they speak, and they unconsciously respect your presence. This is not just winning arguments, it's mastering the art of influence, of clarity, and of quiet power. You don't need to convince anyone. You simply let the questions guide them to the answer, and in that process, you always come out ahead. Number 4, speak with clarity and brevity. You have to realize something crucial about communication. Most arguments are lost before a single word is spoken. Not because you're wrong, not because your ideas lack merit, but because they're buried under layers of clutter, rambling, and over-explaining. The Stoics understood this instinctively. Reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. Notice the power in that statement. Not a single wasted word, no defensiveness, just clarity, purpose, and calm. You need to do the same. When you speak, make it count. Every word should carry weight. Every sentence should have direction. Begin by identifying the core point you want to communicate. Don't let it dissolve into tangents. What is the one truth you want to convey? Distill it until it is sharp, precise, and unmistakable. Stop yourself from explaining every nuance, from justifying every detail, from giving everyone a map to your thinking process. This doesn't make you rigid, it makes you compelling. Clarity breeds authority. Brevity commands attention. People respect someone who can express complex ideas simply, who doesn't rely on volume or repetition to prove their point. You can feel it when someone is concise and intentional in their words. It draws you in without force. Now here's an exercise to internalize this. Take a common opinion you hold, something you find yourself arguing about often. Write it down in one sentence. No more. Not two, not three. One sentence that conveys the essence. Then speak it aloud. Notice how much more confident and grounded you feel. That's the magic of brevity. That's the way your words start to wield influence without aggression. Every time you over-explain, you weaken your position. Every time you strip your message to its essence, you strengthen it. The Stoics also teach that clarity is not just about what you say, but how you say it. Your tone, your pace, your presence, all these things amplify or diminish your message. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." When you pair your precise words with attentive listening, people feel understood, even if you don't verbally agree with them. You're not attacking, you're not persuading with pressure, you're simply presenting truth with calm authority. That energy is far more persuasive than volume, emotion, or argument. Practice this daily. Start small, respond to questions with fewer words than usual. Summarize your thoughts in 10 seconds or less. Observe the impact. You'll find people leaning in, genuinely curious, rather than tuning out or resisting. Gradually, increase the complexity of your ideas while maintaining the same restraint. Watch how it changes the dynamics of your interactions. You become someone who naturally directs conversations rather than being pulled along by them. Finally, remind yourself constantly, clarity and brevity aren't just stylistic choices, they're forms of discipline. They're the armor that keeps your arguments free from chaos and clutter. They're the vehicle through which your integrity, wisdom, and composure shine. Each word is deliberate. Each silence is intentional. You're no longer reacting to impulses, flustered emotions, or the need to be heard. You speak with the calm assurance of someone who knows what matters and refuses to waste energy on the unnecessary. If you adopt this, you will notice a subtle but profound shift. People stop arguing with you in the way they argue with noise. They pause, they listen, they respect. You don't have to raise your voice, repeat yourself, or justify endlessly. You have won the argument before it even begins, simply by mastering the art of clarity and brevity. That's Stoic power in action, quiet yet unstoppable, and entirely within your reach if you're willing to train yourself, word by word, breath by breath. Number 5, accept what you cannot change. Let go of ego. You have to understand something crucial if you want to master the art of winning without fighting. Most arguments aren't really about facts, they're about ego. Your need to be right, your insistence on proving yourself, your desire to control the outcome, these are what make disputes spiral out of control. The Stoics knew this. Epictetus said, It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That reaction, how you choose to respond, is where your power lies. When you accept what you cannot change and let go of your ego, you step into a space of clarity, calm, and control that others simply can't touch. Start by recognizing the things outside your control. You cannot make someone see your point if they are not ready. You cannot force understanding. You cannot change someone's opinion just because you know yours is logical or correct. Fighting that reality only drains you and feeds the conflict. Instead, shift your energy inward. Focus on how you respond, not on how you're perceived. That alone disarms tension. Said, if someone does wrong, it is because they think it is right. So why be angry? When you internalize that, you begin to understand arguments as reflections of perception, not attacks on you. Letting go of ego doesn't mean being weak. It means refusing to be a hostage to your pride. It means understanding that the world doesn't revolve around your need to be right. Every time you resist the urge to defend yourself unnecessarily, you create space for calm reasoning. You don't need to shout, insist, or dominate. You simply exist as someone who knows their mind, accepts reality, and refuses to be dragged into chaos. That quiet strength, it's magnetic. People notice it. They might not articulate it, but it shifts the dynamics of every interaction in your favor. Hear how you can practice this daily. Start by identifying moments when your ego flares, when you feel the need to correct someone, to defend yourself, or to control the outcome. Pause, take a breath. Ask yourself, can I change this? Is this under my control? If the answer is no, let it go. Literally let it go. Don't stew. Don't argue. Simply shift your focus to what you can influence, your actions, your words, your attitude. Over time, this becomes a muscle you can flex at will. Another practical exercise is to mentally rehearse responses before potential conflicts. Visualize a situation where someone challenges you, and imagine yourself remaining calm, detached from your ego, and accepting what you cannot change. Picture yourself listening fully, responding thoughtfully, and then moving on without needing validation. Doing this repeatedly rewires your mind to prioritize composure over confrontation. Remember, letting go of ego is not a one-time act. It's a habit. It's a commitment to seeing the bigger picture. Every argument you avoid by staying centered is a victory. Every time you resist reacting out of pride, you build a reputation for wisdom and control. You demonstrate mastery, not over others, but over yourself. That mastery commands respect far more effectively than any heated debate ever could. So start now. Practice acceptance. Practice detachment. Accept what you cannot change, let go of ego, and watch how the world shifts around you. The next time a conflict arises, you won't need to shout or argue to win. Your calm, your clarity, your refusal to be controlled by pride will do all the work for you. That is the Stoic path. That is the true power of winning without fighting. And there you have it, 5 powerful Stoic rules that let you win any argument without ever raising your voice. Remember, it's not about dominating the conversation, it's about mastering yourself. When you stay calm, listen deeply, and speak with intention, respect follows naturally, and so does influence. Now imagine the difference this could make in your daily life, at work, with friends, even online. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, you won't just respond, you'll respond like a Stoic. If you found value in these strategies, hit that like button, share this with someone who could use a little Stoic wisdom, and make sure to subscribe for more insights that turn everyday conflicts into opportunities for growth. Master the art of quiet power, and remember, the greatest victory is not in winning the argument, it's in winning yourself. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. What if I told you that the most powerful tool to survive in life, whether in personal battles or harsh social landscapes, isn't strength, money, or connections? It's the secret art of silence. The things you choose to keep locked inside your mind can protect you far more than anything you say aloud. In fact, revealing too much can make you vulnerable, sometimes dangerously so. In this video, we'll uncover 5 crucial secrets from Stoic philosophy that you absolutely must keep to yourself if you want to avoid unnecessary harm, betrayal, or even metaphorical death in your life. These are not just random tips. They're time-tested strategies from the minds of ancient Stoics who understood the delicate balance between speech and silence, trust and caution. Stay with me till the very end, because mastering these secrets will transform how you navigate conflicts, relationships, and your own mental resilience. This isn't about fear. It's about wisdom, control, and ultimate survival. Let's dive deep and unlock the power of what you don't say. Number 1, guard your personal struggles and vulnerabilities. If you want to protect yourself, truly shield your spirit, then this one truth needs to settle deep inside you. Your personal struggles and vulnerabilities are yours alone to guard. They are not currency to trade, gossip to spread, or ammunition for others. Reminded us, keep yourself simple, good, pure, serious, unpretentious, a friend of justice, God-fearing, kind, full of affection, strong for your proper work. The strength here comes from the inside, not from exposing your inner cracks to the world. You see, when you lay bare your weaknesses, you give others a map to your soul's soft spots. That map, it can be used against you. Your battles, your pains, your silent fights, these are sacred. They are the raw material from which you build resilience, not headlines for others to exploit. Guarding these parts of yourself is not about hiding or shame. It's about respect for yourself and your journey. You must train yourself to hold your struggles close, like a precious secret that once told can never be taken back. Practice this daily. When the urge arises to vent, to seek sympathy, pause. Ask yourself, will sharing this empower me or weaken me? Will this bring me peace or stir more chaos? This simple habit rewires your mind to protect your inner fortress. Remember Seneca's wisdom. No man is crushed by misfortune unless he has first been deceived by prosperity. Vulnerabilities exposed in times of ease can become weapons in storms. You're not a book left open. You are a fortress with gates that open only to those who truly deserve entrance. So build a habit of selective sharing. Practice confiding only in your own reason and inner strength before you tell anyone else. When the weight feels too heavy, don't rush to offload it to others. Offload it to your discipline. Write it down, breathe through it, face it quietly. Become your own guardian. Your struggles don't need an audience. They need respect, discipline, and the calm power that comes from silence. Guard them fiercely. That is how you stay unbreakable. That is how you keep your peace and your life. Number 2, avoid sharing your future plans openly. Listen, you need to understand this right now. Sharing your future plans openly is like handing your enemies a blueprint of your next move. When you lay out your goals, dreams, and ambitions for everyone to see, you're inviting judgment, interference, and worse, sabotage. Said, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. This applies to your future plans too. Not everything you think or want needs to be voiced. In fact, the wiser choice is often to keep your path quiet. Why? Because the future is fragile. It's full of unknowns, uncertainties, and obstacles you haven't even imagined. When you share your plans prematurely, you risk losing control over them. You give others the power to influence, distract, or derail you. Worse still, some people might feel threatened by your ambition and want to stop you, quietly, subtly, or directly. Protect your vision like a Stoic warrior guards their mind. Here, what I want you to do, start practicing silence as a tool of power. When someone asks, "What are your plans?" respond calmly with, "I'm focusing on what's in front of me," or "I'm working on things step by step." Keep the details close to your chest. This isn't about mistrust, it's about strategy and discipline. Now take a moment to reflect. How often have you shared your goals only to face criticism or distraction? Recognize the pattern. Your mind is your fortress. The less you expose, the stronger you become. Epictetus reminded us, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Let your actions do the talking, not your words. Here's a practical exercise for you. Write down your top 3 goals. Next, write down a list of people you've told or want to tell. Now, cross off anyone who doesn't actively support or inspire you. From this moment, practice sharing your plans only with those who truly lift you up. For everyone else, stay silent and let your progress surprise them. Remember, true strength lies in quiet confidence and self-control. The future belongs to those who guard their intentions, move with purpose, and don't reveal all their cards. Your life is your mission. Protect it fiercely. Number 3, keep your true opinions private. If you want to survive and thrive in a world that's often unpredictable and sometimes ruthless, one of the most powerful moves you can make is to keep your true opinions to yourself. Yes, that means biting your tongue when the urge to speak your mind feels overwhelming. It's not about being dishonest or hiding who you are. It's about mastering control over what you reveal and when. As Epictetus wisely put it, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Part of what you have to do is learn when silence is your strongest shield. Why? Because your opinions, your raw thoughts, can be weaponized against you. They create openings for others to manipulate your emotions, twist your words, or turn your convictions into vulnerabilities. When you rush to share everything you think, you give away power. Your power to shape how others see you, your power to maintain inner peace, and your power to navigate complex social landscapes without unnecessary conflict. Imagine this. Instead of exposing your beliefs immediately, you pause, you think, you weigh the consequences. This isn't cowardice, it's strategic self-preservation. It's the mark of a wise person who understands that not every thought deserves a spotlight. As advised, be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. You don't need to react to every wave of opinion or impulse. Stand firm, silent, steady. Here's your challenge. Start practicing restraint today. When you feel the itch to speak your mind, ask yourself, is this necessary? Will this help me or hurt me? Pause, breathe. Let silence settle. You'll find that silence often carries more weight than words ever could. It keeps you mysterious, respected, and most importantly, safe. Try this exercise. For 1 week, pick moments where you normally speak your opinions quickly, maybe in conversations, social media, or debates, and hold back. Write down how you feel before, during, and after. Notice your growing control. You're building a muscle, the muscle of wisdom. Remember, this isn't about shutting down your voice forever. It's about learning when and where your voice matters most. In the Stoic world, control over your own mind and expression is freedom. You don't owe the world your thoughts on demand. Choose to protect yourself by keeping some things just for yourself. Your survival and your peace depend on it. Number 4, don't reveal your weaknesses or fears. You've got to understand this. Showing your weaknesses or fears is like handing someone a loaded weapon pointed right at you. It's not about being secretive for the sake of paranoia. It's about protecting your inner fortress, your peace, your ability to stand tall no matter what life throws your way. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca said, "He is most powerful who has power over himself." And what's more powerful than controlling what you reveal about your inner world? When you openly display your fears or vulnerabilities, you give others the keys to unlock your emotional defenses. You become an easy target for manipulation, judgment, or worse, emotional drain. That's why you have to cultivate the habit of guarding your inner self fiercely. You're not hiding out of weakness. You're choosing strength, sovereignty over your own emotions. Here's the thing, it's natural to feel fear or doubt. The trick isn't to erase those feelings. It's about mastering how and when to share them. Keep your most sensitive truths close to your chest. The less you reveal, the less ammunition others have. It's a shield, not a wall that isolates you. As Epictetus put it, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. So how do you do this? First, practice self-awareness. Every day, take 5 minutes to check in with yourself. What fears are whispering inside your mind? Acknowledge them, but don't broadcast them. Write them down in a private journal instead of sharing them out loud. This gives you control. You see your fears without letting them control you. Second, learn to pause before you speak. When a tough question or situation arises, take a breath. Don't rush to spill your doubts or weaknesses. Answer calmly with composure. This pause builds your emotional armor over time. Third, cultivate your inner dialogue. When you catch yourself doubting, respond with a Stoic reminder. This too shall pass, or I control my response, not external events. Reinforce your strength internally rather than seeking validation outside. Remember, true power doesn't lie in what others know about you, it's what you command within. Keeping your vulnerabilities guarded doesn't mean building walls to shut people out. It means building a fortress within that no one can breach without your permission. Take that control, own it, and watch how your confidence grows. Don't hand out your weaknesses. Protect them like precious treasures because they are. This is your first secret, your strongest secret in mastering your life and walking the path of the Stoic warrior. Number 5, stay silent about your achievements and successes. You want to hear something that could change the way you move through the world. Stay silent about your achievements and successes. I'm serious. The less you broadcast your wins, the safer and stronger you become. There's a powerful reason the Stoics preach this kind of quiet strength. Reminds us, when you have the power to benefit someone, why tell everyone about it? It's a reminder that real power isn't loud or showy. It's calm, controlled, and most importantly, private. You might feel the urge to share your accomplishments because it feels good. It strokes your ego. But what you gain in momentary praise, you risk losing in peace. Sharing too much gives others a foothold. It opens a door for envy, jealousy, or even hidden agendas. People can't aim at a target they don't see. Keep your victories close. Protect them like a treasure. Here's the action step. Practice the art of silence about what you've achieved. Next time you want to brag or boast, pause. Ask yourself, what good does this serve? Will it help me grow or just feed someone else's doubts or insecurities? You don't need applause or validation. Your progress is yours alone. Another exercise. Start a private journal where you celebrate your wins. Write them down, relish them, but keep this record for your eyes only. This habit strengthens your sense of self-worth internally, so you're not dependent on external approval. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That's heavy, but it's truth. Real growth doesn't need an audience. It's quiet, it's steady, and it's safe. You owe it to yourself to guard your victories. Shield your achievements in silence. Let your work speak for itself, not your words. This is how you build unshakable confidence. This is how you survive and thrive, without giving others a chance to chip away at what you've built. So today, commit to holding your successes close. Be the calm in the storm. Be the unmovable rock. Keep your power private and watch how your life changes. Remember, some truths are weapons. Handle them with care. The wisdom you choose to guard is as powerful as the steel you keep sheathed. As the Stoics teach us, mastering what you reveal is mastering your own fate. If you want to live freely and fiercely, learn to hold your cards close. If this video sparked something in you, don't just watch, act. Protect your peace, choose your words wisely, and stay vigilant. Share this with those who value strength in silence. And before you go, hit subscribe for more Stoic truths that sharpen your mind and shield your soul. Stay silent, stay safe, and above all, stay unstoppable. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. What if I told you that sometimes the hatred people show isn't just about dislike? It runs far deeper, into dangerous territory where their very existence seems threatened by yours. It's not just about disapproval or annoyance. It's about a silent, burning desire to see you removed from their world entirely. That's a heavy truth, but recognizing it could be the difference between survival and disaster. In today's video, we'll uncover the 5 unmistakable signs that a person doesn't just hate you, they want you gone. This isn't paranoia, it's awareness, rooted in ancient Stoic wisdom that teaches us how to see the world clearly and protect our inner peace. Knowing these signs equips you with the power to act wisely, stay calm, and defend yourself, not with anger but with strategic clarity. Stay with me till the very end because these insights are not just warnings, they're keys to mastering your response, turning potential threats into fuel for your strength and resilience. Let's dive in and remember, your peace is your power. Number 1, they consistently sabotage your efforts. When someone consistently sabotages your efforts, it's not just about dislike or petty grudges. This behavior reveals something deeper, something darker. They want to see you fail, even to the point of destruction. You have to recognize this, because awareness is your first weapon. Reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. That means don't let their sabotage define you or your path. Instead, take control. Sabotage isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's subtle, undermining your work, spreading doubt, or quietly blocking opportunities you deserve. The key is that it's relentless and purposeful. It's not a one-off slip, it's a pattern. When you notice this, it's time to act, not react, calmly and firmly. First, guard your space. Your mind and energy are your kingdom. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, when sabotage creeps in, don't let it shake your confidence. Remind yourself daily that their negativity says more about them than you. You're the one building, growing, moving forward. Next, sharpen your boundaries. You don't have to explain or justify your progress to anyone. If someone's actions consistently block or harm your efforts, you owe yourself the respect to limit their influence. It's not about being cold or vengeful, it's about self-preservation. Protect your projects, your dreams, your peace. Think of it like this. A fortress doesn't ask permission to close its gates. Neither should you. Now take inventory of your efforts. Are you vulnerable because you're rushing? Or maybe you're oversharing plans with people who should know? Stoicism teaches us to be strategic with what we reveal and to whom. Practice restraint. Develop the habit of reflecting each night. What progress did I make? Where did I meet resistance? How did I respond? This reflection keeps you aware and prepared. Here's a practical exercise. Write down the areas where you've noticed sabotage. Be honest with yourself. Then beside each, write one clear action you can take to shield yourself. Maybe it's keeping certain plans private, or focusing more deeply on your work, or cutting ties with those who bring consistent harm. Keep this list close. Review it weekly. Let it guide you in reinforcing your defenses. Remember, sabotage is a test. It tests your resilience, your patience, your clarity. You don't have to let it win. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." See each act of sabotage as a challenge to grow stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. Ultimately, when someone tries to pull you down, you have two choices: crumble or rise. Choose to rise. Keep your purpose clear and your actions deliberate. Build your fortress of calm, focus, and relentless forward motion. You owe yourself nothing less. So from today, start guarding your efforts like a treasure. Be vigilant, be calm, be unstoppable. Because the world needs your growth more than anyone else's attempts to stop it. Number 2, they spread harmful lies about you. When someone spreads harmful lies about you, it's not just simple dislike. It's a sign they want to tear you down at the deepest level. Lies are weapons. They poison how others see you, how you see yourself, and disrupt the calm you deserve. If you catch yourself caught in this storm, you need to wake up and act. This is more than a nuisance. It's a battle for your peace and reputation. First, understand this. You can't control what others say, but you can control how you respond. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So don't waste energy chasing the rumor or trying to defend yourself endlessly. Instead, build your fortress of inner strength. Let lies bounce off you like raindrops on a sturdy roof. Here's the mindset shift you need. Stop fearing the lies. The worst they can do is expose the cracks you haven't filled yourself. Use this as a call to deepen your integrity. Be so grounded in your values, so clear in your character, that no story can shake you. When you live authentically, falsehoods lose their power. People who matter see through the smoke and mirrors. Now, action time. Start by practicing detachment from others' opinions. Daily remind yourself, I control my mind, not their words. Write it down. Say it aloud. Make it your armor. This keeps your focus on what's real, your effort, your truth, not on the chaos others create. Next, build your circle wisely. Surround yourself with people who know your worth and reflect your values. Their faith will help drown out the noise. This support is not a weakness. It's a strategic advantage. Said, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Choose your environment with care. Finally, channel this energy into growth. Instead of reacting with anger or fear, ask, what can I learn? How can I become stronger? Write down 3 ways you will rise above this challenge in the next week. Maybe it's practicing patience, maybe it's deepening self-awareness, or simply choosing calm in the storm. Do this daily. Remember, lies reveal more about the liar than about you. They expose insecurity and malice, not truth. Let that fuel your resilience. Keep your mind clear and your heart steady. You are bigger than the stories others tell. Stay rooted in your own reality. Take this moment as a turning point. When harmful lies swirl around, it's your invitation to build a fortress within, unshakable, unwavering, and utterly yours. That's real power. That's the Stoic way. Number 3, they show no remorse for your suffering. When someone truly wishes harm on you, their lack of remorse for your suffering becomes crystal clear. They don't just dislike you, they seem completely unmoved by the pain or hardship you endure. It's like your suffering is invisible to them, or worse, they might even take some twisted satisfaction in it. This absence of remorse is a glaring sign that their feelings toward you go far beyond hatred. You need to recognize this. Why? Because your peace and your life depend on it. Reminds us, if someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed. But what if someone refuses to acknowledge your truth? What if they actively ignore your pain and carry on regardless with no sign of regret? That's when you know. They want more than just distance. They want your downfall. And this is not a game you can afford to play lightly. You need to start protecting your inner fortress. When you see someone who shows zero remorse, no empathy, no flicker of conscience, it's a red flag screaming for your attention. It's not just about guarding your feelings anymore. It's about preserving your very well-being. So what can you do about it? First, train your mind to detach from their cruelty. This doesn't mean you become cold or indifferent to others, but you learn to stop letting their lack of remorse eat away at your spirit. Remember Epictetus, wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't control their cruelty, but you absolutely control your reaction. That control is your power. Second, build a habit of self-reflection. Each day, ask yourself, did I let their lack of remorse disturb my peace today? If the answer is yes, pause and breathe. Remind yourself that their pain is theirs to carry, not yours. Visualize a strong wall between you and their negativity. You don't have to let their darkness into your life. Third, practice gratitude. Focus on what you do have and who genuinely supports you. The Stoics believed gratitude anchors the soul against misfortune. So, write down 3 things every day that you appreciate about your life or yourself. This habit will rewire your mind to focus on strength, not suffering. Lastly, take action where you can. Protect yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. Set boundaries without guilt. Walk away when necessary. Remember, self-preservation is not selfish, it's essential. You owe it to yourself to stop tolerating a presence that shows no remorse for your suffering. Recognize it, confront it in your mind, and take decisive steps to safeguard your life and peace. The absence of remorse is a loud warning. Listen to it, respect it, and act. You're stronger than their indifference. Show yourself that every single day. Number 4, they attempt to isolate you from allies. When someone wants to truly harm you, not just dislike you, they don't just stop at words or passive hostility. One of their most dangerous moves is this: they try to isolate you from your allies. They want to cut you off from the people who see your worth, who back you up, and who make you stronger. Think about that. Isolation is the weapon they wield because a lone person is easier to break, easier to undermine. But you're not here to be broken, not by anyone. You need to recognize this tactic for what it is: a calculated attack on your support system. When someone starts whispering doubts to others, spreading false stories, or manipulating situations to drive a wedge between you and your friends or colleagues, that's a red flag. It's not just hatred anymore. It's a strategy aimed at making you vulnerable. And that's when you have to stand firm like a rock. Reminds us, choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. Isolation is designed to make you feel powerless, but power lives inside your mindset. You're stronger than their schemes, but you have to act. Here, what you can do right now. Guard your circle, pay attention to how your relationships evolve. If you sense that someone is trying to turn your allies away, don't ignore it. Open conversations with your trusted friends. Transparency is your armor. Bring your concerns out in the open before suspicion takes root. Strengthen your connections, don't wait for others to reach out. Take the initiative. A quick message, a call, a genuine check-in can keep your relationship strong and prevent distance from creeping in. People bond through action, not just words. Stay rooted in yourself. Remember Epictetus's wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't control others, but you can control your responses. Don't isolate yourself emotionally or mentally, even if the outside world tries to do it physically. Build new allies, don't be afraid to expand your circle. Sometimes when old ties fray, new ones can form. Look for people who share your values, who lift you up rather than tear you down. Every strong person has a tribe. Find yours and nurture it. Keep perspective. Isolation can feel like the end, but it's often a test. How you respond defines you. Use it as fuel. Reflect daily. Who am I without the approval of others? How can I be my own fortress? Practice gratitude for the allies you do have and focus on your internal strength. Here's a simple exercise. Each morning, write down 3 people you trust and 1 action you will take to strengthen your connection with them. It could be sending a thoughtful note or simply asking how they're doing. These small steps build an unshakable web around you. You don't have to fall into the trap of isolation. When others try to cut your support, you rise by reinforcing your foundation. This is your moment to choose strength, clarity, and resilience. Don't just survive their attempts, outgrow them. Remember Seneca's words, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Let this challenge forge you into someone who cannot be isolated, someone who stands tall no matter the odds. Because at the end of the day, your true power lies not in others' presence, but in your own unwavering spirit. Number 5, they exhibit obsessive fixation on your downfall. When someone crosses the line from mere dislike to a dangerous place, one unmistakable sign is their obsessive fixation on your downfall. This isn't just a casual grudge or momentary irritation. It's a relentless, unhealthy obsession. They replay your failures over and over in their mind. They wait and watch, hoping to see you stumble. Their thoughts circle around your mistakes like vultures circling a carcass. This kind of fixation reveals something far darker than hate. It's a desire to see you broken, defeated, erased. Now here, where you need to wake up. You have to recognize this pattern not as a random annoyance, but as a threat to your inner peace. Reminds us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If you let someone's poisonous fixation seep into your mind, you're handing them power over your well-being. You don't want that. You want control over your thoughts, your emotions, your energy, not over theirs. So what do you do when you sense this kind of fixation aimed your way? First, build a mental fortress. Protect your inner world by controlling what you feed it. When you catch yourself obsessing over how someone might wish you harm or eagerly awaiting your mistakes, stop. Shift your focus back to what you can control, your own actions, your own mindset. Here's a practical exercise to try. Every morning, take 5 minutes to write down what you want to achieve that day. No distractions, no negativity allowed. This habit trains your mind to lock onto progress rather than paranoia. And when thoughts about that person's fixation creep in, use a simple mantra. Their obsession does not define me. Repeat it until your mind lets go. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Don't give the person's fixation the stage in your mind. Your imagination is a battlefield. Decide what you will nurture there, fear and bitterness, or strength and calm. Next, detach emotionally. You don't have to engage with every toxic thought or reaction. You're not their puppet. You get to choose your response. If they obsess over your downfall, you respond with indifference and focus on your own growth. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to give power to what hurts you. Lastly, remember to practice gratitude. When your mind starts spinning with their fixation, anchor yourself by listing 3 things you appreciate in your life. Gratitude rewires your brain, pulling you out of negativity's trap. It's a Stoic tool that's simple but incredibly powerful. Your goal isn't just to survive their fixation, it's to rise above it, to remain unshaken, steady, and serene no matter what's thrown your way. So, take action now. Build your mental defenses, own your thoughts, refuse to be dragged down by the shadow of someone else's obsession. You hold the key to your peace, and no one's fixation can steal that from you unless you let it. Stand firm, live deliberately. Let their fixation be a reminder of your strength, not your fear. Remember, recognizing these signs isn't about fueling fear. It's about sharpening your awareness and protecting your peace. As said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Stay vigilant, stay grounded, and never let the darkness of others consume your light. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom that empowers you to face life's toughest challenges with calm and strength. Until next time, keep mastering yourself and let your resilience be your shield. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Epictetus. What if I told you that the universe has a way of balancing the scales, often in ways you don't immediately see, but it's already happening around you? People who wrong others, manipulate situations, or betray trust may think they're getting away with it, but karma does miss. And here's the kicker. Sometimes it unfolds quietly, without fanfare, almost silently. In this video, you're going to discover 5 unmistakable signs that someone is already facing the consequences of their actions, even if no one is pointing it out. These are subtle, yet powerful signals, and recognizing them can sharpen your intuition, protect your energy, and help you align with your own path of justice and integrity. Stay with me until the very end, because understanding these signs isn't just about observing others. It's about tuning into the natural laws that govern life, so you can move through the world with calm, clarity, and confidence. Watch closely, because missing even one of these signs could mean missing the full picture of how karma silently plays its hand. By the time you finish this video, you won't just see karma. You'll understand it, sense it, and learn to let it work its course without interference. Number 1, they constantly face the consequences of their own actions without complaint. You need to understand this. True karma doesn't come with fanfare. It doesn't announce itself with loud voices or dramatic consequences. It whispers, it nudges, and the person who is already receiving it, silently, steadily, faces the results of their own choices without complaint. You might think this is a kind of weakness or passivity, but it's anything but. There's immense strength in observing the natural flow of cause and effect without whining, without blaming, without pointing fingers. Said, accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs? When someone experiences the outcomes of their actions and meets them with calm acceptance, they are not only learning, they are growing, quietly but surely, into the mastery of themselves. Now let me be clear, this isn't about inaction or resignation. It's about cultivating a mindset where you recognize that every action carries weight, every choice has a reaction, and complaining only clouds your judgment. You have to train yourself to see the chain of cause and effect and respond thoughtfully, not emotionally. Stoicism teaches you that what matters is not the outcome itself, but how you handle it. Each consequence, whether you perceive it as positive or negative, is a lesson in disguise. The person silently receiving karma understands this. They don't argue with reality, they bend with it, they adapt, and they measure their responses with precision and awareness. Here's a practical exercise for you. Start observing your own reactions to the outcomes of your actions. When something doesn't go your way, pause, breathe, ask yourself, what is within my control here? What lesson can I extract? Write it down, journal it, reflect on it. This habit rewires your mind to face consequences as a teacher rather than an enemy. It trains you to act with integrity in the present so that when outcomes arrive, you meet them calmly, without unnecessary resistance. Over time, this builds an inner armor that no external circumstance can pierce. You also need to understand the quiet power of patience here. The world is full of people who rail against the unfairness of life, who project blame onto everyone but themselves. But the person who absorbs karma silently is doing something radically different. They are taking ownership of their actions. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Ownership transforms suffering into strength. It transforms setbacks into opportunities for self-mastery. And it transforms your perspective so that you no longer waste energy wishing life were different, but instead use every moment to refine your character and sharpen your judgment. This requires discipline. You must resist the urge to vent, to justify, to plead. Instead, meet every consequence with composure, take responsibility, analyze, adjust, and move forward. Each consequence becomes a stepping stone, each challenge a chance to fortify your resilience. And the more you practice this, the more you cultivate an aura of quiet dominance. People who complain scatter energy. Those who silently absorb their karmic lessons conserve it. You want influence. You want control over your inner world. This is how it begins. So here's your challenge. For 1 week, intentionally notice when things don't go your way. Don't react immediately. Instead, journal the action, its outcome, and your natural instinct to complain. Then consciously replace complaint with observation. Ask, what can I control? How can I respond with clarity? Over time, you'll notice a shift. You'll meet consequences not as burdens, but as mirrors reflecting your choices. And in that reflection, you'll find strength, clarity, and a kind of silent wisdom that no loud voice, no tantrum, no protest can ever give you. Number 2, their manipulations or deceit start backfiring subtly. You need to start noticing the quiet unraveling that happens when someone's deceit or manipulations begin to turn against them. It's rarely loud. Karma doesn't need a spotlight. It doesn't announce itself with fanfare. What happens instead is subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in the balance of power. The person who once twisted situations to their advantage, who thrived on bending truth and controlling perception, suddenly finds the same strategies betraying them. It's like a shadow creeping into a room. They may not see it coming, but it's there, quietly reshaping the outcomes they once thought were in their hands. You, on the other hand, can witness it clearly if you train yourself to observe without attachment or judgment. Reminds us, observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of things is to unfold as it does. This is the essence of silent karma. You watch, you notice, and you learn. You can take this as more than just observation. It's an opportunity to sharpen your own mind. Start by pausing before you react to manipulation, before you're drawn into drama. See the inconsistencies, the little cracks forming in someone's narrative. Don't jump to confrontations or retaliations. That's the trap the manipulator wants you to fall into. Instead, anchor yourself in calm awareness. The universe has a way of balancing actions and consequences without you needing to lift a finger. Every deceitful word, every sly move has a tendency to ricochet. It might be miscommunication, a missed opportunity, or a subtle shift in perception among those around them. Pay attention to these small reversals. They are signals, indicators that what they've sown is returning in kind. Here's an exercise for you. Each day, practice watching interactions around you with detached focus. Pick one scenario where someone is being manipulative or controlling, and simply observe without reacting. Notice how the dynamics evolve naturally. Take note of when their schemes begin to falter or backfire, however subtly. This trains you to see the patterns, to recognize the invisible law of cause and effect in human behavior. You'll start to understand that control is never permanent, that deception always carries an echo that finds its way back, and you'll realize how much energy you save by letting natural consequences unfold instead of forcing justice or retribution yourself. Epictetus tells us, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. You can't control the deceit or manipulation of others, but you can control your perception, your response, and your awareness. By doing so, you position yourself above the chaos, observing as the subtle rebalancing occurs. You begin to notice patterns, the quiet frustration, the missed connections, the tiny moments of embarrassment that accumulate. It's fascinating when you pay attention. And it's empowering because instead of being drawn into cycles of revenge or resentment, you see the natural order of things at work, silently reclaiming balance. Now here where your action matters. Commit to cultivating this observational habit every single day. Make it intentional. Sit in silence for 10 minutes and mentally review your interactions with others, noting where deceit or manipulation has arisen. Ask yourself, what are the consequences emerging quietly? What is unraveling without my intervention? You'll notice clarity growing, patience deepening, and your energy becoming untouchable. The manipulations of others no longer have power over you because you're no longer feeding them with reaction, no longer dancing to their rhythm. Karma works in whispers, not shouts, and when you learn to notice those whispers, you gain a profound advantage: insight, composure, and an unshakable sense of equilibrium. So watch closely. Let the universe take care of the consequences. Protect your energy, sharpen your awareness, and cultivate patience. Those who manipulate will always find the subtle echoes of their actions returning. And when you observe silently, you not only witness justice in motion, you rise above it, untouchable, calm, and fully in command of yourself. Number 3, they attract situations that mirror their past behavior. You have to understand this. Energy is not random. Actions, intentions, the choices you make, every little decision leaves a footprint, a pattern that reverberates through your life. When someone is already receiving their karma silently, one of the clearest signs is that they begin to attract situations that perfectly mirror the behavior they've exhibited in the past. There's no cosmic punishment that shows up with flashing lights. It's subtle, quiet, and unavoidable, like a shadow that grows longer with the setting sun. Seneca said, "Every man's life lies within the present, for the past is gone and the future is uncertain." Yet, the patterns of the past create ripples in the present, shaping the scenarios a person will face. Actions have a gravitational pull. What you put out, consciously or unconsciously, eventually returns. And for those who are not aware of this rhythm, life begins to reflect their own behavior back at them, quietly but relentlessly. Notice how the universe has a way of echoing your own choices. Every betrayal, every unkind word, every lapse in integrity, every selfish decision, they all come back, not necessarily in the form of dramatic retribution, but in the way life unfolds. Situations arise that force introspection, that hold a mirror to the soul. You start seeing the pattern when the same type of challenges, the same type of obstacles, or the same type of people keep appearing in one's life. It's not coincidence. It's a reflection of internal alignment or misalignment. Epictetus reminds us, men are disturbed not by things but by the view which they take of them. In this sense, the events that return are not punishments, they are feedback, a quiet, unspoken guidance toward awareness and growth. Now hear where your power lies. Recognizing these patterns in others can sharpen your perception, but more importantly, recognizing them in yourself allows you to reclaim control over your own life. This is actionable insight. Don't just watch silently. Look closely at the patterns in your own behavior. Observe the ripple effects of your choices. Take inventory. Ask yourself honestly, am I attracting situations because of my own repeated actions? Am I creating the conditions for challenges I claim to dislike? Awareness is your first step toward conscious correction. You cannot change the echoes of the past without first noticing them, without consciously adjusting your behavior in the present. Here's a practical exercise. For 1 week, keep a quiet journal of your interactions, decisions, and reactions. Reflect each night on the consequences that followed. Notice the repeated themes. Where did your behavior influence the circumstances around you? Were there patterns of friction, resistance, or frustration that emerged consistently? Write them down, not to judge yourself, but to map the cause and effect trail of your actions. The Stoics teach us to measure our lives with honesty and clarity, to align thought and action. Use this practice to strengthen your awareness and to guide your decisions more wisely. And remember, this is not about guilt. This is about understanding. It's about seeing the invisible threads that tie your actions to your experiences. It's about mastering yourself so that you attract situations aligned with your values, rather than being subtly pulled into the consequences of past misalignments. You are not powerless. Each day offers a chance to break cycles, to act with intention, to redirect the energy you project. And in doing so, you transform the reflection you see back in the world around you. Karma, in this sense, is simply life's way of teaching you to live deliberately. So pay attention, observe the signs, and take action. Correct your patterns, refine your choices, and be conscious of the energy you emit. The universe mirrors back what you cultivate, silently but faithfully. Make sure that what it reflects is a reflection of your highest self, not the residue of old mistakes. The power to shape the patterns of your life begins with awareness, discipline, and deliberate action. Number 4, people begin to distance themselves naturally from them. You need to recognize this. The universe has a way of balancing itself quietly, without fanfare, without the drama that people expect. When someone is accumulating negativity through their actions, through dishonesty, selfishness, or cruelty, you'll notice a subtle shift in their social world. People start to pull back naturally. It's not forced, it's not orchestrated, it simply happens. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." The inverse is just as true. Those who drain, manipulate, or harm will find themselves alone, not by punishment from others, but by the natural consequence of their own behavior. You might watch this unfold and feel almost invisible, yet it's happening all around. This is karma working in its silent, efficient way. You, on the other hand, have an opportunity here to observe, to learn, and to apply this principle to your own life. Pay attention to how people respond to negativity, not with loud confrontation, not with dramatic statements, but through quiet withdrawal. You'll notice that over time, relationships that were once solid start to fade. Invitations stop coming. Conversations lose warmth. Smiles become distant. It's subtle at first, almost imperceptible, but consistent observation reveals the pattern. You must see it, not as a form of schadenfreude, but as a lesson in the consequences of human behavior and the power of your own actions. Here, how to train yourself. Start by noticing the energy you bring into interactions. Ask yourself, am I uplifting or draining? Am I honest and calm or reactive and manipulative? Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. You can't control the behavior of others, but you can control your own. You can use this quiet observation to refine your own character, to strengthen your boundaries, and to ensure that your presence is always constructive. Watch how people naturally gravitate toward you when you operate from integrity, and observe how distance forms when people act without honor. It's an invisible curriculum the universe offers if you're paying attention. A practical exercise to sharpen this skill is simple. In your next interactions, remain calm and neutral. Don't overreact. Don't try to force connection. Just observe. Notice the subtle shifts, the pauses, the hesitations, the thinning of enthusiasm. Reflect on what this teaches you about energy, about cause and effect, and about the quiet power of consequences. Over time, you'll develop a sense for when distancing is occurring as a direct result of choices made, rather than circumstances imposed. You'll see karma in motion, not as a loud spectacle, but as a quiet, undeniable flow. You must also internalize this. Distance isn't always negative. Sometimes it's the universe protecting you, guiding you to focus on relationships that actually serve mutual growth, not draining entanglements. By observing others withdraw, you can refine your own circle. Ask yourself, who brings out the best in me? Who strengthens my mind, my spirit, my discipline? Keep those people close. Let those who withdraw drift naturally. Stoicism teaches us to respect the order of the world, to detach from what we cannot control, and to act wisely within what we can. So pay attention, observe without judgment, reflect on the patterns, and most importantly, use this as a call to action. Cultivate your own integrity, guard your energy, and always act in ways that build trust and respect. Distance will come naturally to those who deserve it, and connection will flow to those who earn it. By practicing this awareness, you not only recognize karma in motion, but you also ensure that you are always on the side of virtue, calm, and strength. Number 5. Their attempts to harm others are quietly thwarted by circumstances. Pay attention, because this is one of the quietest yet most revealing signs that karma is unfolding. When someone tries to harm others, whether through manipulation, deceit, or subtle sabotage, you might expect chaos, drama, or confrontation. But very often you'll notice something different. Their attempts are quietly, almost invisibly, thwarted. Circumstances seem to align against them without fanfare, without anyone needing to intervene. It's like the universe itself nudges events in such a way that their plans fizzle, their schemes collapse, and their energy gets redirected. And here's the crucial thing: you don't need to get involved. You don't need to watch the struggle unfold with a sense of satisfaction or gloat internally. Instead, let this observation deepen your understanding of control and consequence. Epictetus reminds us, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will, and you will be happy. In other words, recognize that what is meant to unfold, unfolds, and often justice in its quietest form operates through natural law. You can practice this awareness actively. Begin by observing your own reactions when you notice someone attempting harm, either directly or indirectly. Feel the instinct to interfere, to comment, or to fix the situation. Then pause, breathe, ask yourself, what is within my control here? 9 times out of 10, the only thing truly under your command is your own energy, your own attention, your own calm. By stepping back, you allow the universe to take its course. This is not passivity, this is mastery. You are training yourself to resist the pull of drama and to instead focus on what you can shape, cultivate, and direct. That focus is not just practical, it is empowering. Notice also the patterns. When attempts to harm are repeatedly thwarted, there's a rhythm to it. Circumstances will shift subtly. Resources that were expected don't appear, timing seems off, communication breaks down. The more you attune yourself to these subtle shifts, the more you will understand the principle that Stoics have always revered. External events are not inherently good or bad. They are neutral until you react. When someone is receiving karmic consequences, those neutral events conspire quietly to teach them lessons they cannot yet see. And by observing this, you train your own mind to remain resilient. You learn that patience, observation, and measured response are far more powerful than reaction fueled by impulse or emotion. Here's a practical exercise. For 1 week, select one situation in which someone's actions are causing tension or difficulty. Don't intervene immediately. Instead, catalog the subtle ways their attempts are being blocked or misdirected by circumstances beyond anyone's control. Write it down. Notice how events unfold on their own. Reflect on your own energy during this time. Are you calm, restless, curious? By documenting these subtle interventions of life, you will begin to see the silent, invisible hand of consequence in motion. You'll also start to appreciate that your energy is your most valuable asset, and that conserving it, rather than squandering it on conflict, is a form of wisdom. Ultimately, the lesson is profound but simple. The world has its own way of balancing scales, and often this balance doesn't announce itself with thunder and lightning. It operates quietly, persistently, and invisibly. When you recognize that, you stop being a participant in someone else's chaos and become a master of your own focus. Your task is not to mete out justice. It is to cultivate presence, discernment, and inner calm. In doing so, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering and position yourself to act decisively, calmly, and effectively when the time calls for your own intervention. This is the power of observing karma in motion. It strengthens you, clarifies your mind, and trains you to rise above reactive patterns. Remember what's said: the universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. Karma isn't always loud, it's subtle, quiet, and inevitable. If you've watched closely, you now know the signs that someone is silently facing the consequences of their actions. Use this knowledge wisely. Observe without judgment, protect your energy, and focus on your own growth. Stoicism teaches us that our power lies in what we control, your actions, your mindset, and your choices, not in the actions of others. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, share it with someone who needs this wisdom, and subscribe so you never miss a guide that helps you rise above drama and stay aligned with your values. And here's your challenge. For the next week, practice silent observation. Notice actions and consequences around you without reacting. Watch how clarity and calmness start to shape your life. Stay patient, stay grounded, and remember, what goes around comes around, quietly, inevitably, and without your interference.